Alright, here we go. This is a ranked 2v2 on Storm between the Carbon team on the left side. It is ProProProPro in the Void Neo and WolfCuB in the Shark Neo team. And on the right side, it is MonsterScuff in the Paladin, or Liberty Paladin, and happydeath in the, what's it called? The standard classic striker. Yeah. Both teams opening up very standard, very much straight for bottom. No multitasking yet, putting like a unit up here at the top or something like that. But we do get a little bit of harass from WolfCuB, killing the initial creeps. Not a humongous deal on Storm because you will take a little while to knock these neutrals down, and the second wave of creeps will come pretty shortly. But the Carbon team has been able to grab their side first. And they are also working on the corner and have actually been able to grab the corner. So the Carbon team is actually significantly ahead, I would say, because the red team has not even grabbed the bottom outpost yet. And the Carbon team with pretty much all their units here clearing mid. They will get a very strong mid fight started. But focus fire! No, WolfCuB not getting finished off by the blue team. That was crazy. He was a sliver of health left. That was insane. But now ProPro dropping a couple of heavy mines stealthily, sneakily there. If those arm before the red team sees them, happydeath does see it now, I think. I'm not sure if he noticed it, but yeah, they definitely have to worry about that because you tend to micro your units forward. And ProPro actually setting a couple heavy mines down on the bottom as well. But WolfCuB now getting finished off by happydeath in the air. But ProPro with tons of heavy mines everywhere. Definitely something to worry about for the red team. 38 to 23 right now. The Carbon team is way ahead in upkeep, but mostly because of the 9 heavy mines that ProPro has put down on the ground. happydeath actually getting trapped on the ground there, but able to boost and jump his way back to his outpost to safety. The mid fight is being won by the Carbon team right now, I would say, mostly due to their superior positioning. Even a couple units down here at the bottom by WolfCuB, a couple of Buckies and Longhorn, going to be a little bit difficult to deal with because of the Buckies being supported by the Longhorn. Easily harassable, but the Carbon team is all over the place here, so the red team doesn't really have any windows to harass, even if they tried. The Carbon team is just too much on top of their units for them to be harassed and sniped from under their nose. But the Carbon team a little bit forced to pull back, but they have been able to clear. Okay, the entire mid area is clear of neutrals, but the Carbon team has slightly better positioning right now, a little bit more forward and a little bit more spread out. Already has an artillery piece down, although there are Buckies firing in for the red team. It's just, I think it's just 2. Yeah, just the 2. So any healing units, yes, 1 honeypot down for the Carbon team. So great unit composition for the Carbon team. This is very classic AirMech that you're seeing right here in front of you. happydeath trying to harass with that striker sword, but too much micro going down by the Carbon team. And MonsterScuff getting pinned down by that Neo. ProPro really low on health actually, but able to Q heal up. Oh, that's a bug. A spectator bug. When anyone Q heals, everyone has that blue, cube hovering over them. That's funny. Anyway, the red team actually pushing the Carbon team back with all of their aggressive leapfrogging over here, but their units are getting very squishy, and MonsterScuff forced to pull back here. While the units have basically been fighting it out by themselves at the top. Nothing really has gotten killed, I think, because of the presence of healing units, or at least this honeypot is keeping everything alive for the Carbon team. And let's see, Ratchet over here for the red team, so they are, yeah, pretty much fine. So nothing really happened between the units themselves while that mech versus mech action was all going on. 61 to 49, so the Carbon team is still in the lead, but again, you have to consider the number of heavy mines that that ProPro put out on the field. And so much striker sorting by happydeath, able to move around in such a way that he doesn't really get hit too much, or takes minimal damage only pretty much from the flak AA, and even then some of them do miss a little bit because of proximity, I think. Oh, and WolfCuB a little bit misfiring there, not able to finish off that boxer full of infantry, because you can tell that all 4 lights are lit. Now this is going to be a massive, very spread out mid-fight. Very micro-heavy is what's going to happen. It's going to be very harass-heavy, and it's going to be very micro-heavy. They need to save units like these over here. The one honeypot's there. They might want to put down another one because it could easily get sniped by an enemy mech if they're watching out. Red team actually taking the outpost under their control very briefly. It probably won't stay red for very long. And ProPro now trying to move up a little bit forward. Lots of action going down all here in the middle area, but a little bit too much to see from my camera view, unfortunately. But the Carbon team definitely has more units here, and more Buckies firing in, more artillery firing in, etc. So they are winning this mid-fight for sure. Healing up what they can, putting down enough honeypots to sustain the damage that is being dealt by the red team. Okay, Happy Death now going to try to just get a quick neutralization. That is something that could help them in this fight, but Happy Death really low on health, getting fired upon by a lot of AA and by ProProProPro in that, you know, in the approach. Not able to get the neutralization as the Carbon team is right on top of that, spamming infantry and spamming defensive units as well, distracting those mechs or those units from getting fired upon. And MonsterScuff now trying to approach from the top angle with a couple of Dillos, using the Paladin as a shield to tank the majority of the damage, but all those Dillos, almost all the Dillos have been finished off. Okay, one. Okay, two. There we go. And Happy Death pulled this one back. So 42 to 68. Not ideal for the red team. Then on a map like Storm, oh, WolfCuB got caught in that stealth because Happy Death was firing, and he just kind of crossed the path of Happy Death's fire. So he will be able to defend against those gangster drops with minimal damage taken. Do they need to put up a lunchbox? Not yet, because you know you pretty much have to put a lunchbox down once you sense the enemy could potentially chip away to get a win or a final all-in push. You know. You can't let your enemy, you know, start ticking away damage like crazy. Once you get to maybe 3/4 or 2/3 health, you might want to start thinking about putting a lunchbox up. MonsterScuff gonna try to get neutralization in this bottom outpost, but with WolfCuB right there, he needs to micro like crazy to keep the fire away from the mech, and he's not really going to be able to do that. Here, Happy Death is going to support him, though, so all four mechs once again in this frantic scramble to win the micro and mech fight battle. The Carbon team had way more units, though, so the red team did have to abandon that. Happy Death going to do a couple of jumper drops, but does get caught by ProProProPro, so he won't be able to really get that much done. You know, not caught by ProPro, but, you know, Pro was there to see him do it, so, yeah, you definitely have to pick your timing to maximize the effectiveness of your decisions, like doing drops, doing cheeses, doing some socket unit snipe, stuff like that. And MonsterScuff is actually doing work, throwing that hammer like crazy, and able to get a couple of units killed. Will he be able to survive this, though? Really low on health, needs to get over that ridge to be able to get back to his post, and he does. Will he be able to save his units from WolfCuB's harass? Yes, he is. So it's actually evening out just a little bit. So, oh no, never mind. I looked at the upkeep and I figured it did, but okay, 52 to 74. So it's still a very big upkeep disparity between these two teams. Way in favor of the Carbon team, but 51 units to 34 units on the field, so let's see, one heavy mine, not too many heavy mines left on the field for the Carbon team, so you could pretty much say that upkeep difference is a direct comparison of, you know, unit firepower on the field. But the Carbon team, or sorry, the red team is way still in this. Okay, MonsterScuff, okay, might have been able to get the neutralization, but Pro passed. No, but Pro is ignoring. He's not gonna defend against this. So WolfCuB dropping a single Goliath in front, but that's a lot of AA and a lot of gangsters. It's really dangerous to stay there. That was really weird that ProProProPro kind of ignored that drop from those, you know, that set of drops from MonsterScuff. They are trying to kill whatever they can, but they are, you know, forced to shift their focus down to this bottom outpost because they have virtually no defenses. They might want to start just microing like crazy and putting their high health units like the Goliaths in front here to try to start dealing damage to the red units that are, you know, encroaching on their space. Happy Death trying to get the neutralization, and he is able to get it. Oh, okay, yeah, barely. Wow. Okay, so the Carbon team really needs to take this back or defend against this in some other way. Bring more units down, ferry a lot of these units down, something like that, to push the red team out of the area, and they basically did that just now. So Happy Death MonsterScuff are kind of back to the drawing board. Although a lot of the carbon units have been repositioned to here, they might want to take advantage of that and start positioning the units down here at the bottom of the mid. We definitely have to support it with enough healing units, but there's a lot of gangsters out in the field right now. The carbon team, I don't know if they realize that the red team could consolidate them and do one heavy, quick, swift attack, because gangsters can just do that, especially in numbers. But will it work against a team with a Neo, number 1, and a team with 2 Neos, number 2, and you know, a team that's such highly skilled as Pro and WolfCuB that know exactly how to respond against a mass like that, which is basically harass and move as much as possible to do whatever damage you can, and then to set up your defensive line as fast as you possibly can and pick your spot. They need to be able to recognize if they do choose to use these gangsters in a rush, which I would think they're eventually going to do, or maybe they're just going to keep doing these drops like crazy. Happy Death going to do a couple of fort drops. The Carbon team almost definitely, especially a team like this, brought a lunchbox to this battle. MonsterScuff going to keep trying to... Oh, geez, just going to maintain and reposition. I thought he was going to continue to do unit snipes, and Happy Death getting finished off by the Carbon team there. WolfCuB getting the final hit, but it was definitely both of these players that, you know, were responsible for that resultant death. And Daddy almost getting finished off by MonsterScuff, but WolfCuB able to save it. 66 to 84 is the upkeep difference right now, or is the upkeep standing. So what can the red team do? They could consolidate their gangsters and do one swift strike somewhere because of the speed of the gangsters and because of their power. You know, and because of their power density, basically. They have enough health to survive. They have almost, I don't remember exactly, but they have comparable health to a tank. It's like 3/4 of their health, something like that, something crazy that you wouldn't expect from a unit that appears the way that it does. And MonsterScuff and Happy Death are actually harassing the crap out of this unit clump, while ProProProPro has actually sneakily dropped a couple of gangsters and brought some Rocketeers. Oh no, those are the frontline soldiers or something like that. To take this top right outpost under his control, spamming probes. No, spamming the frontline soldiers again. I think that's what it is. Like 99% sure that's what it is. The WolfCuB is also here to defend, to distract unit fire as well. So this probably will stay under the Carbon team's control as of now. The red team is he's not looking at all good, but Pro actually getting finished off. Final hit by a gangster. It looked like Happy Death and MonsterScuff got that, but the gangster getting the final hit. But as long as WolfCuB can maintain, oh man, also gets finished off, does not Q heal in time, so the Carbon team will lose this top right outpost almost definitely. As long as the red team gets the neutralization, they don't really need to kill the enemy units. They just need to get the neutralization, and that is it. Well, though now ProPro taking this opportunity to ferry some units over. Will this actually work? There was a lot of Carbon units over there. That Goliath could also be ferried over. Basically everything that the Carbon team could be ferried over, but there was too much of a delay in those ferries, and the red team has pushed the Carbon team off that ledge and back down onto the low ground. Goliaths being dropped by WolfCuB down here actually will kill quite quickly due to their power. I mean, there's freaking 3 of them right there, and a 4th one coming down by ProProProPro. They're going to establish a line right here. They need to bring a couple of healing units to be able to sustain that, but no, Pro, low on health, forced to pull back to his outpost. And WolfCuB also pretty low on health, so MonsterScuff and Happy Death able to respond to this properly, and they have held. Once again, 87 to 72. The red team is now most definitely catching up. And, okay, Pro, needs to drop that Goliath next to a healing unit or something like that, basically, because to heal it up at a post would take forever and would take way too much time away from the fight. So, yeah, drop it next to a healing unit and it will eventually be healed up enough. Probably, as long as it doesn't get noticed or harassed or something like that. But the red team's actually doing crazy amounts of damage with these gangsters, with the, the Paladin leading the way with the attack aura. Oh no, is that a defense aura? I guess it is a defense aura. That's kind of weird to see that. But, trying to heal up. And they are actually pushing forward with the gangsters. How much can they actually get done? There's tons of super heavy units, and the Carbon team is moving down as well. Are they moving down to the right over here? Oh man, I'd love to see what happens there. Happy Death getting killed by a Gorgon. MonsterScuff the only one left here, but with that Paladin aura. Oh no, there's way too much carbon units over here. Forced to pull back by a fairy. And low on health might get the finish. And there you go. ProProProPro getting that final hit on MonsterScuff. Realizing how low on health he was. Had plenty of energy. Had outposts right there, but just a little bit overextended. And ProPro makes you pay the price when he sees it. And happydeath actually also getting finished off too. The carbon team has pretty much made the decisive move to take this game. And it does look like they are just going to go all in straight down the middle. There is nothing really left for them to fear. The gangsters go down to neutralize the bottom outpost, but that is a crap ton of Goliaths, and it does look like this game will end in the next 30 seconds or so. The Goliaths, that train of death, going down to that fort, trying very, very slowly, hilariously enough. I mean, there's nothing in their way, and there's nothing to stop them, but they will just take a long-ass time to get there. And at this point, happydeath MonsterScuff trying to do whatever they can to slow this unit composition down. Maybe they will be able to get 1 or 2 Goliath kills, but ProProProPro just need to set these on hold position to force the enemy mechs away. And even if they don't, WolfCuB is here, you know, taking that bottom left or bottom right outpost under their control. Oh no, they're going for the last outpost. That is crazy, but they are also going for the fort, so they are very much splitting the red team's attention. There is nothing left on the field, really, for the red team to be split. Their units are already split and all over the place compared to the carbon team's units, which are kind of spread out as well, but they have the overwhelming advantage in numbers. 79 to 38, the carbon team pretty much just has to get the win right now. I don't know if the red team has any hope in you know, maybe, okay, they can take this bottom left down here. And if they can stop these, they actually, and if they can stop the carbon team from taking this top right outpost, they actually still have a chance. They have less fort health than the carbon team, yes, but on a map as short as Storm, and with a booster striker, or not booster, but afterburner striker, which he has 2 points in, happydeath, you know, a drop chip damage victory is definitely possible. However, right now, the carbon team has way too many units over here, and this is going to be almost an impossible battle to defend against for the red team. They have been able to neutralize that bottom right outpost. They will not be taking it back anytime soon, though. Okay, the creeps do walk in. Level 4 creeps now that we are past the 15-minute mark. MonsterScuff and happydeath doing whatever they possibly can to keep this keep this unit clump from absolutely annihilating their unit cluster over here, their army. MonsterScuff, Q healing up, the carbon team taking this outpost back under control and locking it down with gangsters and a bunkered brute, which will go into the no, that one brute did not get finished off. happydeath not able to get the finish there, not even able to get the finish on this gangster. Okay, there you go, finally gets the kill, but now the carbon team pretty much just has to send for the victory. They have plenty of units all over the field, so they can just hit send all over. Well, Whopper, turret, never mind. It's just 1 or 2. There's a Flacker, there's a Longhorn, something like that. There's a Bucky. So, yeah, the majority of the units are sitting right here, and they have actually been forced to pull back from that ledge attack. But yeah, again, could just go straight for fort, and I think they would get the victory. They could start spamming lighter tanks, and they don't really have to fear that much, even though the enemy mechs are at level 10 and 11. They could start spamming lighter units to get a a fort kill at this point, because they have taken down about 1/3 of the red team's health. They just need about 2/3 to go, and they should be okay. They should be okay if they wanted to get the finish right now. I mean, this is high-tier AirMech, so you don't really play that recklessly. That's the kind of AirMech that I personally like to play. That's the kind of AirMech that I like to see. But, yeah, the carbon team definitely could throw it if they just went, head down, guns blazing, straight into the fort. Does look like they're pushing their unit advantage right now into this small unit clump, which is being pulled back by MonsterScuff the Paladin. And ProProProPro and WolfCuB now working the bottom as their units come straight to fort. Okay, there you go. That is going to be it. They are going for fort, and there's very little that the red team has actually to defend with. And the damage going down so fast, so fast with all of those Goliaths. And there you go, the carbon team, WolfCuB and ProProProPro taking this rank 2v2 victory on Storm over happydeath and MonsterScuff. So, sheesh. I don't think there was necessarily a decisive turning point in that game. There was just so much battling going on, and that's basically high tier AirMech on a small map. That's what that generally looks like. Very, very high tier AirMech on a small map will just be harassment like crazy, drops like crazy, all at the same time while you're doing a frantic mid-fight, trying to find whatever openings you can to snipe units on the side, trying to find whatever or create whatever openings you can by dropping the fort. No one really went for the corners except for Pro at the end there. And I feel like the red team probably could have. I don't think they did. I don't know. I might have missed it. You guys probably saw it on the minimap if I did miss it. But the red team might have been able to use the, top left corner attack to their advantage. But the problem is, just 2 Neos on the opposing team on such a small map. You're going to get a response, almost immediate response, even if they, don't see you coming. Once they see you on the minimap, then your enemy Neos are going to be at you really, really quick. But yeah, great game. Thanks to WolfCuB, I believe, to WolfCuB for sending this game in. Yeah, if you guys want to try your hand at casting, let me know. We will hook you up with a couple of replays and some instructions for help setting up obs and stuff like that. If you guys want to submit your replays, the submission form link is in the video description. I say this way too often, but I guess no one stays till the very end. You know what, guys? Let me know if you stay till the very end and listen to my ridiculous ramblings even after the game is over, because if people actually do, then maybe I'll start telling like short stories that I might start writing again. I say again as if, yeah, again. I'm gonna say again. This is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.